Now to the worst anti-Semitic attack in American history. The Pittsburgh synagogue gunman gets death penalty this evening. A U.S. federal jury sentencing the attacker who killed 11 people back in 2018. The ruling needed a unanimous vote from the 12-member jury for the sentence to be imposed, and they got it. And the same jury found the men guilty of all 63 charges stemming from the attack on the Tree of Life synagogue. So it's for all of us to better understand what happened and what will happen from this point onwards. Let's cross now live to our 24 News senior U.S. correspondent Mike Wagenehim joining us now. Mike, thank you for joining us. So tell us more about this, again, unanimous ruling, which is binding on the judge, right?
That's right. The jury started deliberating on the sentencing on Monday afternoon. Didn't take them long to come to a decision. It was reached late this morning and announced early this afternoon in Pittsburgh. All 12 members of the jury finding Robert Bowers not just guilty, but now eligible for the death penalty as well. Keep in mind, though, two things, Ellie. Number one, there is an appeals process. Bowers can always appeal and almost assuredly will through his attorneys. Secondly, there's currently a federal moratorium on the death penalty in the United States. There has not been a federal execution since the final year of the Trump presidency. In fact, most of the executions in America over the last 40-some years came within that final year of the Trump presidency before current President Joe Biden instituted the moratorium. So even though Bowers has been sentenced to death, and even if it sticks through the appeals process, as of right now, the federal government will not allow executions in federal cases. Of course, that could change with a future administration.
So essentially, we do not know whether the execution will actually be executed, but there is another formality, at least, still ahead. 50-year-old Bowers is to appear in court tomorrow to hear his verdict from the judge, but also the families of some victims are expected to address the court. Right, Mike?
That's right. It's such a complicated situation, obviously, for those victims' families and for those who survived the massacre. Some say this brings some sort of resolution, a sense of closure. Some say there'll never be closure. And there's not even unanimity in terms of, who wanted the death penalty to be instituted. Even some of the families and some of the survivors were not for the death penalty in this particular case, or for some in any particular case. They're just against it, period. So obviously a range of complicated emotions here for those who survived and the families of those who did not. And, it's not something that's just going to go away with today's pronouncement.